All right, guys. Shopify Rebellion's BYUN in the top right side of the map. SERRAL in the bottom left side of the map. It is Basilisk against Shopify, a classic rivalry. And it looks like we're going to see most likely that 2-Rex Reaper wall-off. Now, BYUN did make SERRAL sweat the other week in the Luli Cup. I don't know if you guys remember Winter Madness, Hellbat Marine timing. SERRAL lost every queen, every Zergling, and killed one Marine, and then just died. He just tapped. One of the most brutal savage victories ever. SERRAL did end up winning 3-1 after that, but he had to fight very hard. I remember the Mothership game. BYUN really put the hurt on him. When I looked at the bets on this match a few minutes ago, it was 90% in favor of SERRAL, 10% in favor of BYUN. And don't get me wrong, it should be favored in terms of SERRAL is the favorite to win. However, with those odds, I would go on BYUN right now. SERRAL's looked mortal recently. He looks like he can be a little bit vulnerable at certain moments in the game. He's dropped a few big series. Obviously, the likes of Maru, Hero, that's Clem, and one to Big Gabe, which I think is the only player who's not a like world champion winner kind of level player out of those. I guess Hero is not actually a world champion, but you know, obviously has won many tournaments. Point being, I definitely think if you look at their head-to-head, it has been a hot minute, you know, for BYUN beating SERRAL. You have to go back to the end of 2022 when BYUN beat him 3-2 in, I think it was Home Story Cup, actually. That is, you know, 3.5 years ago now. So don't get me wrong, it's been a hot minute, but all time, BYUN has won 30% of their head-to-head. 6 wins for BYUN, 14 wins for SERRAL. And that's not really that bad. SERRAL has like 80% win rates versus a lot of top players. So, yeah, this is BYUN actually, I think, has a very decent win rate against SERRAL compared to most top pros. Third base does go down. We've got another Overlord on the way. 2 queens will be out momentarily. SERRAL has gone for Ling Speed before third, which is absolutely the right play against a 2-Rex Reaper. Third Reaper comes out. Going for a second gas and a quick factory in the back. Look at that. SERRAL sees no lights flashing on the barracks and just shows no fear. Overlord's going to go right in for the scout. Goes a little bit deeper. He will see the factory timing. Sees an add-on. I wouldn't mind him going in a bit deeper. Doesn't want to throw the Overlord away, though. SERRAL's got a college shirt on, guys. How often do we see a player play with a college shirt? I love that he's wearing his Sunday best for PiGFest. Straight from the Church of Zerg into a nice tournament. We're almost at $10,000 in the prize pool, guys. I mean, we are on track to fill up the prize pool for $10,000. And honestly, if the support keeps going this way, we might raise a bunch for PiGFest 8 as well. And that's how this tournament's been so sustainable. It's you guys, even the people watching afterwards on YouTube have been going over and just dropping donations. I wake up every morning and there's a bunch of $5, $10, $20, $50 donations in there. And it's just really cool to see. You know, sometimes you get one person who loves StarCraft dropping a crazy amount of money to make a tournament happen. What I'm really impressed with is just how many individual people have made the prize pool grow steadily over the last 2 weeks. So thank you so much for being a part of that, guys. It's going to be Banshee. 2-on-1 into Banshee is a bit of a tricksy opening because a lot of players against this, they will skip Spore Crawlers. If you can sneak these Banshees across the map, they can find damage. SERRAL's one of the better players at getting wind of this, though. And I remember I initially hated this build because I thought, yeah, it's disguised. But Zerg still has Overlords, and good luck getting across the map without an Overlord or a Zergling spotting the Banshees coming. And Spores build so quickly. So I always felt like it was a bit iffy, but part of the reason it's so good is this low ground wall-off is weak to like Ravager Basts, Bane Basts, and Banshee obviously is very good at keeping you safe against those. Oh, Overlord barely pulls back. Lair coming in. 3 full mineral lines. This is a classic rule of 1 gas for SERRAL. Very standard play, guys. 8 queens, Lair, Baneley Nest, 2nd and 3rd gas, and he goes for 1 Evo chamber. He will add a 2nd one later, but he really wants to start Carapace as early as possible at a similar timing to the +1 attack of Terran. This is a textbook opening. Now, what I mean by rule of 1 gas, guys, is he saturates all of his mineral ions, and only then does he take the extra gases. So he's going to start a 4th base. He'll add 2 gases here as this base gets a bit oversaturated. He's probably going to play 5 gas Hydraling Bane, but the Hydras are more of a support unit. This is not a mass Hydra build. can see SERRAL just doesn't want to dip below 16 or 17 workers on minerals. Carapace starts almost immediately, only a few seconds behind BYUN's upgrades. Such a crisp build order. Oh, and the Banshee flies in and dies! Ah, BYUN did win the coin flip, guys. This is US West we're starting on. Gets the slight server advantage. This is unfortunate. We saw Cure against Raynor yesterday also fly multiple Banshees across multiple games into the Queens. You cannot afford to throw your Banshee away. It's such an expensive unit. Putting the starport on the tech lab, building the unit. It's so good to defend run bys. It's so good for clearing creep map control and just forcing the Zerg to move around with their Queens. And that's such an unfortunate turn. Now, he is also supply blocked right now with no depot building. That's a massive supply block, guys. Absolutely massive supply block. Sorry, I'm looking around. Did he do a supply drop? He did. He had to do a supply drop to get out of it, and he still supply blocked slightly afterwards. BYUN, he looked very tense in his previous series. You can't be too stressed playing against a guy the level of SERRAL, because SERRAL's so calm. He has equanimity personified. That's right, guys. I don't know if you guys can tell. I took a break from reading fantasy novels, and I've been reading this really cool non-fiction book I found. It's called The Thesaurus, so trying to use that one. Queens are going to do some transfuses. Oh, the transfuses are quick, but BYUN has too much firepower. Finally gets, was it 2 queens or 1? Artifacts get out. Just 1 queen goes down. Very quick on those transfuses, man. It's really hard to keep your queens alive against the 16 Marines focus firing it these days. It does force BYUN to pick up again. Second factory and an armory goes down. 2-2's being delayed a bit, and you can see this is where Zerg can get out on that +2 carapace, because SERRAL is so good at realizing... Look, within like 2 seconds, he started it, and he's gone from behind to now ahead on the upgrades. That is the power of SERRAL. He's so tight on these things. And I truly think... So for those who haven't watched a lot of me casting ZvT this season, I thought this map was terrible for Zerg. Then I thought it was really good because Raynor kept beating Clem on it. Recently, Maru has bullied both Raynor and SERRAL on this map, and I've gone back to thinking it's pretty good for Terran, especially in the late game. I still think this mid-game phase, though, is scary for Terran. Don't get me wrong, there's these amazing edge ledges where you can, like, siege the bases and stuff later on, but we're not there yet. And at this point, there's a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot of wide open spaces, and especially if SERRAL starts looping Bigling Bane counterattacks into the natural, I think he could really cause problems for BYUN. BYUN's going to go for this tank siege on the high ground, trying to deny SERRAL's 5th. SERRAL thinks about going for it, but he backs off. His army's very well split. This is one of these things. How often do we see players, guys, just lose a hatchery because their army's all in one clump? SERRAL, so early in the game, split his army into 2, and already he's got a hive up. 2 Vipers on the way. He's starting to add an extra gas here. A 6th gas. Adrenal glands, 2-2s on the way. But look at this reserve tank position. That's really cute. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at the map control. And then he's going to try and force SERRAL to move those units to the right, and then these guys will run in. But I think the creep tumor spotted the medevac. SERRAL's going to try and go around, but that tank is shelling him. It's going to get a few big shots on this. Marine's trying to fight as well. Oh, dude, SERRAL could have overwhelmed these positions earlier, but he's taken too long, and he's letting BYUN bully him. Just because he doesn't know what's up there. He doesn't want to take the risk, but instead he's bleeding out masses of units. BYUN trading at 3-1 efficiency, better than 3-1 efficiency, I should say. Sergeant Chadam is on the high ground, and SERRAL, this whole map's turning into a no-go zone. He needed to be more decisive. He had a lead. He had an early game lead, guys. And he's still in an okay spot, but like, I just think he's letting BYUN control these little areas with so few units. And look at this, like, he's paranoid. He's like, what's out there? He doesn't know what's out there. He doesn't know that the army is split right now into 3 chunks on the map. And you've got the mobility advantage. With Ling Bane, if the Terran splits into 3 chunks on the map and a chunk at home, those armies are tiny. They should all easily be picked apart. And yet SERRAL is letting himself get put in the naughty corner. BYUN is getting away with murder. He has denied the 5th base there. SERRAL has to just turtle on the 5th base in the middle. Go for ultras. His tech, his production, his army is still good. But he is letting BYUN dictate a game and get deeper into the game where it does get very scary for Zerg. We've also recently seen, despite the Broodlord buff, top Zergs do not believe in Broodlords. And I've said for a while, if your opponent goes mass tank, which all the Maru and BYUN are doing right now, they are weak to Broodlords. 1 Viper goes down, but a good Blinding Cloud. That will get cleaned up finally. Hatchery down here did get, I think that was killed. 1 hatchery is being killed, so I think that was killed, not cancelled. And I think a new drone came down and got sniped as well. Parasitic Bomb could be going down. He lost one of his Vipers. BYUN quick to remax. 8 barracks is up. 3-3. No extra armory upgrades. Only +1 for now. I'd like to see constant armory upgrades for the late game. Part of what's made Maru so strong is he gets to 3-3 Blue Flame Hellbats and tanks in the end game. Oh, gets an SCV on the command center with a few Zergans, but BYUN immediately corrects. Blinding Cloud comes in, and another one of these strong points getting cleared up. Serral's going to find some good trades on this stuff, and he cleans up the full drop. It tries to go in. Ooh, all that trading that was going well for BYUN. Gonna go back in the other direction now. That medevac is like 1 pixel away. Finally, the Queen gets it. Bane will clear this up. These guys still hanging on the left side of the map, just waiting for SERRAL to be out of position. SERRAL is the most patient player in the world, guys. So even when he lets people get away with murder, it's really bad for a lot of other players when this happens because they don't have good late game. SERRAL has the best late game. I still feel, though, that he's let himself get bullied off of a map where with his opening, he should have had absolute map control. And if he did, he would have had creep already deep in these sensor towers. He already could have both of these middle bases up and mining right now. And then there's massive pressure on BYUN to get going on the map. Instead, BYUN is casually building 4 command centers at a time. He's literally walling off his bases with command centers. He's going to build a planetary in front of his siege tanks. It's not ready yet, though. And there's not that much bio to respond. Dude, it's almost pure Baneling, though. What is this army? Dude, is this camera feed being hacked? This isn't SERRAL, this is Shin. He has a Ragnarok of Banelings. His hatchery gets cancelled. He's finally building a spire to deal with these drops. This is clearly Shin playing. There's no way SERRAL would be rolling 50 Banelings in a giant ball. That's Shin's move. That's not SERRAL's move. Parasitic Bomb doesn't quite kill it. Needs to get some more. I mean, the Vipers could have finished that off if he threw another one. Banelings are not bad units, but of course, if they're just rolling in a clump into spread out siege tanks, they will essentially be targeting icons. All the Terran sees is big red crosshairs above those clumped up Banelings for him to target his tanks on them. Libs coming in, +2 vehicle weapons. I do want to see BYUN build building armor, high sec, and a second armory. I think that second armory is absolutely vital for the late game. +3 Blue Flame Hellbats are crucial. He's making more Banelings, which is beyond unnecessary. There's still no Hydras, no Ultras. It's nothing but Lingbane Viper. Spire's coming in, second Spire now as well. Microbial Shroud. Ling Drop isn't going to find anything. Gets pushed away. Oh, look at this. Dude, this is where a real Chad kills 2 of his own SCVs, builds a Viking now just to, like, trap him. It's not enough Marines, though. Not enough Marines. He will be able to save them. Parasitic Bomb will go forwards. SERRAL's just accepting late game. This really... If this was anyone but SERRAL, I'd be, like, just shouting about how silly this is. Letting White Rabbit get to late game. Unless you have absolute confidence in your ability to play Broods, which, by the way, remember what I said? BYUN has played Mass Siege Tank as a crutch in this matchup for several years. And Zergs just refused to make Broodlords against him. But if you look at his army, he's got 5 Ghosts, 19 Marines, 2 Vikings. It's a Broodlord free win. You guys have heard me arguing with Rainer about this a few times on stream. He insists they are always bad. They are always the wrong choice. I think BYUN is an objective, correct choice to go Broodlords pretty much every single time. How do you trade these 68 Banelings out without just throwing them away? Because the whole army counters the Banelings, right? There's not even that many Ghosts or Marines for them to connect with. Lingbane rolling forward. Vikings are coming out. LOL, throw lord, says chat. Alright, so we're gonna have the usual people who don't understand StarCraft in chat. Throwing shade at Broformist, he's a regular. Oh, watch out for the snipes! The tanks are getting deep, and this is going to be a losing position. You don't want to chase into this choke point, even though this is only a section of the army. Obviously, the Broodlord timing is coming so late now. There's so much time for BYUN to prepare. BYUN has now 7 orbitals, 5 planetaries, but he's still not built a single Thor. And he's still only got... He hasn't got any Vikings, and only 3 Ghosts. I mean, BYUN is, like, literally giving the layup for Broodlords. He's not even trying... Like, the thing is, there was a massive window when SERRAL was banking where he could have gone Broodlords 5 minutes ago and just won the game. Going for it... Like, Broodlords are all about timing and when you go for them. And the thing is, BYUN's not closing that window. BYUN is opening the window wider by building even more tanks and libs, and nothing that can deal with broods except six ghosts. It's just mass siege tank planetary. He's focusing the changelings so they can't get in the back for the Nidus one. SERRAL's going to come in from two sides. Nice blinding clouds. He just wants to remove this front of the push. I don't think he goes any deeper here. Bio comes in from the left. The Banelings cannot find anything to deal with. Should we check in on the units lost tab, ladies and gentlemen? 2-1 in favor of BYUN. Ultra Corruptor coming out. That was SERRAL's favored unit comp. Broodlords, I mean, it just... I think in SERRAL's mind... Let me explain this, guys. Let's go to SERRAL's camera. There's 26 ghosts and 5 factory 3-3 upgrade Thor could be built. Because that's what happened last time when he played Maru. BYUN does not have that setup, though. Spork Roller will go down. That lib causing chaos. BYUN is just slowly adding the command centers and picking at him. And he's trading really well. Like, BYUN's just like, all right, I'll poke forward with a few units, but basically he just has siege tanks spread across the map. Lingbane will clear this top base. Building a command center next to that was one of the decisions of all time. BYUN gives him an extra command center for those Banelings. 400 more minerals down the drain. Let's go back to everyone's camera. It's a bit too hectic watching from SERRAL's view. SERRAL's still at a 2-1, but definitely building that command center was a bit odd. Maybe he'd queued it with an SCV from further away. Because if he was looking at a massive Lingbane and he placed the command center, that would be silly. Here's the problem with this map. These middle bases are very hard to defend. Terran can deny them so easily, and even if you mine the left one, that's not going to be enough when you're trading this inefficiently. Ultra Ling will come through the middle. Corruptors clear some libs. It's like Broodlords aren't even on his radar. And look at this. If you give BYUN enough time, he will add Blue Flame Thors. And he's got the armor upgrade level 2 coming in. So he's going to be at 3-2 soon. Yeah. Blue Flame Thor's the best kind, guys. What you do is you duct tape a Hellbat with Blue Flame to the front of the Thor, and he protects him from little boys, little bitey boys. It's like putting on insect repellent before going on a bushwalk, you know? Vipers and Corruptors coming in. Parasitic Bombs and Blinding Clouds going down. Nice. This is a nice engage for SERRAL. Not that many tanks covering here. Gonna get a few of these valuable units, but you got to be careful about chasing too deep. These ghosts have not much energy. So few ghosts with energy. The Ultras able to get a bit deeper than I really thought they would. And you can see that was an even trade. They both lost 5,000 resources there. The ratio is improving for SERRAL. SERRAL's the best Ultra Lingbane Corruptor player in the world. He hasn't built any Infestors this game, just using 2 Vipers. And you might be wondering, why not? The reason is, what's he going to fungal, guys? There's only 3 ghosts. He's literally playing against mech with a handful of ghosts. BYUN has actually emulated Maru's style now and is swapped to full mech. He's only got 2 Thors, but it seems like SERRAL is not wanting to go to Broodlord, so that should be fine for now. Mass Lingbane Ultra comes up the left side. The Thor Hellbat trying to defend. Ultra's diving into the base. The Corruptors unzip their fly and start going wee-wee on the planetary. The Vipers do get sniped by the Thors and the Ghosts. He gets a command center. And you know what? Only a 1,000 resource negative trade for SERRAL. That's not too bad. Especially if you can keep this side occupied and get this base mining again. That would be excellent. 3 Infestors do now finally come in. Neuroparasite's still great. And I think he's going to go Microbial. Because there's, like I said, very few ghosts for snipe. Microbial will reduce the damage of the tanks by 50%. 70, or I guess 85 with +3, down to less than half of that because of the way the damage reduction works. Nidus in the main base coming up. Ghost should be able to stop it. How many resources are in a full base? 1,800 times 4 plus 900 times 4. So I think that's, what is that, about 10,000 minerals or so? And then 4,500 gas. Lingbane Ultra Corruptor coming down the left side. The tanks are here. He's just got to lift and run the boys. He doesn't run the boys. The Banelings could get some juicy hits, man. The SCV line going to be collateral in this one. Rallying back to the planetary in the middle of the fight. The Banelings blow up on a few siege tanks. The Ultras do run away. Not as crisp as I think the defense could be for BYUN. But when you've got 10 orbitals, losing those SCVs is actually good. You can just use mules instead. He snipes one of the Infestors. He's going to counterattack. That's highly unnecessary. Counterattacking right now is a terrible choice for BYUN. It makes no sense. I know his bank's not that big, but I really think he's just got to stop wasting money on command centers. He's already built too many, and he's going to run out of resources in this game. He has to just keep muling this base, remax, and be very careful. This is a good pullback for him. A very good pullback. And I love this Thor drop. Thor drop to kill the hatchery, and then he can pull that back, repair the Thor. This is about efficiency. But the problem BYUN has run into in late game before is he builds like 36 command centers. I kid you not, I cast a game where he built 36 command centers, and he ran out of resources in end game, and he was like, damn, man. And I was like, you know 20 is too many, right? Like, you literally, you meant to save that money for army. You gotta be careful about building too many command centers, man. Was it on Mothership? There's been a few games where BYUN just goes crazy on command centers, and I'm like, what are we doing? That's too many. He's at 18 right now. I am exaggerating. I think it was like 25. It was 24 or 25, which is still crazy. Remember, he's lost 3 command centers this game as well. Of course, he's still massively out-trading SERRAL. 16,000 resource advantage. Corruptors would like to kill the medevac. Ling's going to jump on top of the tank and the Thor. Thor never got repaired. Corruptors are going to unzip their flies. Nice move here for SERRAL. That's a freebie, that is. Planetary goes down. BYUN's got to do little details like repairing units in these sorts of games, I believe. Festus sneaking forward. Corruptors are going to take out that command center, but ooh, at what cost? And actually, he could repair that. BYUN's going to push the left side at the same time. He knows there's a lot of resources here. If he can deny these middle bases, SERRAL's going to really struggle long term. The problem is BYUN's going to 2 sides at once, and moving out to 2 bases at once gifts SERRAL the option of crushing one of these armies. He's got an infested... Like, you cannot... Yeah. He pulls back on this side because he sees SERRAL coming. That's the right call. Oh, those blue flame hellbats! Those blue flame hellbats roast the frontline as Zerglings, but the ghosts let the banelings get on top. He's got to pull back behind the planetary. These ghosts gets a few snipes off. Oh, that's a lot of snipes. The Ultras chase into the choke point, but another command center does die to the Corruptors. Units lost time still, though. 17,000 in favor of BYUN. SERRAL tries to rebuild a hatchery, and it just goes down. The fact that BYUN just pushed both sides of the map and actually baited SERRAL into a bad fight is crazy. There are 13 ghosts out now, so you could argue Broodlords aren't as good. I still think Broodlords would be amazing. The 21 siege tanks are going to do so much friendly fire. If you rock up with 15 broods right now, 10 broods, any number of broods, you can start breaking positions. You can start shooting at him from far away. You've got a few infestors. You can cover them with fungal. And I really... I know I rant a lot when I cast, but I can't be wrong on this. Against Maru, when he's only on 10 to 13 siege tanks, and he's got more Thors and ghosts and things, I think it's definitely a dicier decision. Like, I'm very prepared to be wrong when I say you should make Broodlords against Maru. But against BYUN, 22 siege tanks is too many. You've got to take advantage. Guys, BYUN's out of minerals, and he's building 3 more command centers. This is a problem. Okay, he drops like 20 mules up there. 2 of them did get misclicked. I mean, he's taking this base, so it's probably okay. He's building 4 more command centers. Man wants to go to 25 CCs again. Corruptors are coming forwards. Ghosts are going to get a few snipes, though. How many? Okay, I think it was only 1 Corruptor for 2 libs. Good trade for SERRAL. I mean, the problem in this game that I see is, like, BYUN's winning. And SERRAL can't finish mining this base, which means BYUN will eventually get both middle bases and then just, like, be, like, literally 10,000 resources ahead in the end game bank. If the game continues as is. The problem for BYUN is I see him getting excited and moving forward. I've seen BYUN be so patient, but sometimes he just loses his cool after, like, 25, 35 minutes of being the most patient. Like, it's like he cosplays as Maru, but because BYUN's such an aggressive player, it hurts him. Like, it's like a guy who's got to act as a serial killer, but he's, like, the nicest guy ever, so it literally tarnishes his soul to play like this. Like, BYUN wants to just be dropping Marines and Mineral Lines right now and focusing Banelings. I kid you not, like, there is a point where he will lose patience and just run on to creep and get his army surrounded. SERRAL is going to find a few Thors out front. Nice fungal on those ghosts in the back so they can't snipe. That's 2 Thors and a bunch of libs going down to the Corruptors. Good little engagement here for SERRAL, but oh man, as he chases up the ramp, dude. A few ghosts do get picked up. Chasing up that ramp gets really inefficient. 18,000 resources in favor of BYUN. BYUN looks like he's in physical pain. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it is very hard to do all the stuff you have to do in this sort of game. It is also hard for your wrists as well. BYUN did look like he was in pain like 5 minutes into his game 1 with Showtime, though. So I don't know, man. Sometimes BYUN is just, he's so tense. And I think right now he feels like he's facing this guy that's beaten him so many times. He's trying to not get inside his own head. And I think he's doing really well. I think BYUN's in a good spot. He is at 7 planetaries, 4 command centers, 10 orbitals, guys. That's 21 current command centers that are finished. Oh, and he's got 2 that are upgrading. And he's lost 6 command centers as well. So I think... Is that 30 yet? 14, 20, 21... 21 plus 4, 5, 6... 27, he's close. He's not quite there. Oh, Broodlords! They're about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes later than I would have liked to see them. And the Infestors need to stay close. Look at the Infestor spread. The Corruptors need to take care of that Lib. That Lib is like right next to them. And these Corruptors like just letting it survive. Look at that. He's getting a command center. Broodlord's such a good unit choice against a guy whose late game is predicated on mass siege tank every single time. Tanks are getting picked off. Yeah, BYUN often just looks like every unit that dies, he's in pain for it. And every time he focus fires correctly, he also feels really good about it, guys. That's just the BYUN way. You can see that there was the balance change. The Broodlords instantly fired, which is why the Ghosts weren't able to snipe. And that's the difference with the Broodlord change. That's like the one interaction that makes a massive difference. Notice also he's got an Overseer up front, guys. We saw a lot of people recently not have an Overseer with the Broodlords. You always want an Overseer following the Broodlords. Ghosts come in from the left. Once again, they get shot straight away. The snipes get interrupted. BYUN cannot get on top of these with the Ghosts. This is really big. Very, very well played. The Ghosts are incredibly tanky, though. It's hard to kill them with the Broodlords. Like, the Broodlords and the Broodlings don't kill the Ghosts. It's the tanks that kill the Ghosts. It's the tank-friendly fire that will end up killing the army. Oh, he left his Ghosts on creep! BYUN! That was a lot. He's lost 21 Ghosts now. The unit's lost tab. Only 12,000 in favor now of BYUN. It was massively ahead earlier. It was like 18,000. BYUN's going to make a lot more Thors. The problem is, guys, SERRAL is the god of patience. And he's also mining this right side base, which is really important. Because remember, BYUN has a bigger tail on his income with this base and this base. SERRAL still has a little bit of minerals here and here, but that's about it. And last 2 minutes, all these other bases are about to run out. It's just this base for SERRAL, but that's going to give him so much more money. And Terran does generally have to build a bit more infrastructure than Zerg, which is why BYUN's bank is so low. Vipers, Corruptors clearing the libs. Nice Fungals. Good Fungals to interrupt the snipes, but there are 2 Thors that are dealing out massive damage. Those Broodlords need to pull back. The Broodlords cannot be fighting this. SERRAL, if you're going to fight Thors, you really want to have a lot of Broodlords where you can like 1 or 2 shot the Thors. It takes at least, I'd say 11 or 12 broods before you can like 2-shot the Thors. If you can get up to like 22, 24 Broodlords, then you can really 1-shot Thors and smash them. But you got to be really careful. You got to be moving in and out. One of the Broodlords goes down to a snipe. Fungals are good for trapping the units, but you can see the Hellbats clear the Broodlings in 1 shot very quickly. Guys, that is 5 Broodlords that have gone down. For how many Thors? 5 Thors, 25 Ghosts. The army's moving in. There's a Microbial Shroud here. I don't think the Microbial Shroud helps that much, though. The Broodlords are getting pushed back. SERRAL's going to have to give up this base, and when BYUN's pushing, he can force some mistakes out of his opponent, but there we go. The Ling Bane comes in for SERRAL. He's trying to get through that. The Thors are getting cleaned up. Beautiful engagement here for SERRAL. The tank's adding a lot of friendly fire as well, and now he needs to unsiege and give up this position. There's still a lot of Broodlords. 12 Broodlords is not enough Thors to deal with that. One of the Thors is going to get stuck there, and you can see it's really hard to control this late game. SERRAL's done it. He's broken him now, I believe. BYUN still has a bit of income on the left side, but with this right side still basing, still mining, SERRAL remaxing. I do think SERRAL's in a pretty good spot. A couple more snipes go down. I think he needed to pull further back, wait for a few more units. The Fungals and the Broodlords trapping these, and the tanks do a lot of friendly fire. So what's really cool about this situation, guys, is when you get to this situation, Maru never loses this point in the game, ever. And Terran's like broken, right? But then when I try to play it, and even if I'm like 20,000 resources ahead in the trading, then the Broodlords come out. And if my opponent knows how to use spellcasters and control groups for their Broodlords, what happens is what just happened to BYUN there. And there's a 20,000 swing or 15,000 swing in resources against me as the Terran, because I just cannot handle microing against Broods. It's so hard to micro against Broodlord Spellcaster when the Zerg is good at microing that. And Maru makes it look kind of trivial sometimes, but that is a reminder of how special Maru is. It really is very hard to control against this. And SERRAL, he's moving in and out, but he forgot to bring an Overseer. He does have a Spore there. The Infestors, he kind of left himself out there. That was a bit sloppy for SERRAL. You always want to have an overseer with the broods, and you want to have infestors spread out with 1 or 2 coming forward at a time to fungal the ghosts. If you hit the ghost with a fungal, it interrupts their snipe. They can't take any damage while they're channeling the snipe. Otherwise, it breaks off. Serral's retaking this base. BYUN's almost out of cash. He does have 6 planetaries, 11 orbitals, and 1 of the command centers. 18 command centers currently alive, and he's lost 5, 6, 7, 8 others. That's awesome. He got up to about 27 command centers in this game, but unfortunately he's out of minerals and gas. The Broodlords and the fungal is crazy. Dude, Microbial Shroud means the infestors are taking 3 tank shots to die? That's so crazy. Watching an infestor tank 2 siege tank shots and not die is absolutely sick. That is amazing. Dude, GG, well played. That is awesome. Really well played by Sarah. There's just something so funny about watching these infestors here, isn't it? You don't get to see Microbial Shroud that much. This is one of those usages Serral's gotten really good at. Watch the infestors go forward and take shots and still be above half-life. The tanks were trying to focus them here and there, but it was just really well done there. Broodlord control, very good for Serral. I think he absolutely could have won that game in the mid-game. I think he had a great start, and he let BYUN bully him a little bit. I still don't feel this is like God tier Serral, but it is good enough, and I think we know just from experience, if you drag it to mega endgame like he did there, he is the favored player, so it was a clever strat. All right, guys. We've got Serral in the top left side of the map. BYUN in the bottom right side of the map. Great game one there for Serral. I do think he missed some opportunities to potentially close things out in the mid-game, but we saw that he is favored in the late game. Command Center first build here for BYUN. You can see he's not building his barracks after depot. Serral will go for that hatchery first on the expansion. This map does have a nasty spot down here where the Lib can sneak into the back and then siege up your base. I believe he did that on this map to Serral, wasn't it, guys? Yeah, this was the map, right? It was opposite spawn. It was over in this area where the Lib went, hid in this area, waited for 2 minutes. Serral transferred workers to his 4th as it finished, and the Lib just comes up sieges. And then Serral was trying to like jam his queens, hoping they could get in range. They couldn't. And then the Marines stimmed in with the Hellbats, killed all the queens. Then the Lings ran in and died, and Serral just tapped out. Does BYUN try to get the sneaky Lib in again? I think there's an argument behind not blocking the 3rd base, because if you block this 3rd, then Serral takes this one over here, which means he goes for this. And then you can't abuse the Lib spot over here. So I think not blocking is actually the play on this map, even though we used to think blocking was so good. Thank you very much for the $25 towards the prize pool there. Blue Q. Blue Q. Looks like this is going to be a quick factory, guys. No Reaper. Command Center first. Marine. Barrack Center double gas. Serral's playing pretty normal. And he's going to find out in a moment. The question is, does he cancel Ling Speed? CC. He sees CC finished. He knows what it is. A lot of players will cancel Ling Speed here and build their 3rd base quicker and then restart Ling Speed. Serral's like, whatever. Doesn't care. He's just going to continue his build as he'd planned to do it earlier. No worries. Double inject goes down the moment his hatchery's out. Then goes around the right side. He might try to poke in and see if he can get a scout. Let's go back to everyone's vision. Gonna get a bit dizzy if we watch from Serral's camera for too long. Just one heli and one marine at a time for now. So 3 marines are out. If the Overlord comes too deep, you can get it. There is a pillar. A lot of people don't realize there's a pillar because there's so many flowers on this map. But that is actually a pillar here, guys. It's just got some flowers that kind of camouflage into the ground around it. So even if the Marines go to it, they'll need an air unit before they can get rid of that boy. Does anyone know what the issue with BYUN's wrist is? Yeah, he has a psychosomatic pain caused from stress. There's no specific diagnosis in terms of physical issues that they can find. So essentially, it's fine, but then he just gets really nervous and excited when he plays. BYUN is a heart up in your throat, high blood pressure gamer, and the consensus seems to be, well, since we can't find any physical root to your wrist issues, and it seems to be much worse when he's on stage or on camera or anything like that, it is something where, you know, it seems to be basically He needs to probably breathe and relax and do some meditation to solve it, and I think most people can't really do that. I think for most people, especially if you're a gamer who's like loves clicking aggressively and multitasking and being a crazy man like BYUN, it's kind of hard for you to become a Zen master. I feel like he'd lose what makes him great at StarCraft if he became a Zen master. Medevac going forward. Roachhorn and Lair are on the way. Sorry, I'm just laughing at Pi's explanation of what the X5 stands for. I love it. That is true. Don't listen to Dot on my account. She's lying. Listen to Pi. Pi is the moderator tag. That's how you know Pi is correct. Fourth hatchery does get down nice and early here for SERRAL. So this is link speed into Roachhorn. Ravages can reach the Liberator. I think he's traumatized from that Liberator that BYUN did last time, which is why he's going Roaches. BYUN doesn't know about the Roaches, so he's still... And he actually... Oh, he has built the Lib, hasn't he? Yeah. Double Evo Chamber goes down at a pretty good timing as well. Of course, 1-1's very fast for BYUN. His third command center is not particularly early, though. Liberator goes in on the right side. Marine, Hellion, Medevac going to try and pull away. Liberator, got to rotate. Infestation Pit starts up in the natural for SERRAL. Fourth and fifth barracks for BYUN. It's going to be a quick hive here for SERRAL. He'll go 1-1 range. I don't imagine he goes Lurkers here. I do think it'll be into Ling Bane afterwards, because he's already got Ling Speed. But if he takes gases on his fourth early, he could play 8-gas Lurker Viper. I think that would really catch BYUN off guard. Especially if you get 1 or 2 Infestors early to help deal with it. The Lib's going to go for that backdoor action on the fourth. The drones are just starting to build for that base a little bit at a time. The Liberator knows this is his window. Time to run the gauntlet and get back there. Can he get behind? Yes, he can. No Spore Crawler. SERRAL's going to have to morph Ravages. Watch him morph 3 Ravages right now, guys. But wait, there's a big army on the right side. Ling Runby gets in at the same time, though. Marine Hellbat pressure comes forward. There is no engaging into that many Roaches. BYUN runs towards the Roaches like a mad lad. Who the heck runs towards that many Roaches? BYUN is an actual psychopath wearing a human's costume. I do not know how he... I mean, it was not a bad trade. Cost for cost, not too bad. Didn't lose too many Marines. I think he picked up at the moment where it was about to turn very south. 3 Ravages do come over. The Liberator runs away. Yeah. Without Ravages, you have to build a Spire to deal with this. But he's gone Ravages, and now, if the Lib can keep dancing in and out... Especially if the Ravages are ever on the other side of the map, the Lib can go back in and be a nuisance. Well, he could try to bile it. Could try to bile this. Things try to run in. Fourth command center starts there for BYUN. He's on 65 workers. SERRAL's on 85. 82 now after building a few more buildings. Put a Spore Crawler on the left. Baneling Speed has come in, so it's Hive, Baneling Speed, 1-2 upgrades on the melee. Carapace, Adrenal Glands goes down. We'd usually expect a Viper or 2 now, because he's built a lot of Infestors. The Ravages, so many upgrades, hard to afford it. SERRAL is now on 8 gases. Hasn't secured a 5th hatchery just yet. No macro hatch either. Liberator just distracting him on that left side. Widowmine gets a decent shot. No Chat Hammer on the high ground. Lings will just grab the SCV building the depot. Medevac saves the other one. Watch out for Fungal. Oh, devastating. Beautiful Fungal. Beautiful chain Fungal. Only 4 Marines escape. BYUN tries to shove the left to punish SERRAL for that. But look at that micro from SERRAL. Really well done. And that resource loss time is going to be nasty. You know, when it's almost even, the Zerg feels very good, especially when they've been ahead on workers for as long as he has. Ultra Cavern's coming in now as well. And it is Bio Mine for BYUN. No mass siege tank this game. These Ravages, man, they want to kill this Lib so badly. Sarah's like, please die! Please die so I don't have to think about you anymore. BYUN being a nuisance. I love it. Eating that big fungal really takes the wind out of his sails. Yeah, SERRAL's army is not that big. I think BYUN's got to be so careful. Shoving towards infestors, it's a very BYUN/Clem style move. These guys are absolute mad lads. Widowmines get a pretty good smear on those front Zerglings. Gotta be careful about going so deep on creep though. Trying to bait the Fungals right now. Remember, Fungal only has, I think, 7 cast range. Oh, the Marine Marauder trying to bait the Fungals. Fungal lands, but not on that many units. The Marine's gone down most of the Banelings. Excellent control for BYUN. But now another Fungal lands, and the Baneling gets in the middle. That was a juicy Baneling, that was. BYUN just going a bit too deep, a bit too hard. And the Liberator comes in only after everything else is kind of done. So the Lib here being a nuisance. Ravagers will work their way back to that left side. BYUN needs to go home and remax. I think he's still trying to attack, but Ultras are here. Ultras are here. Oh, no. Another Fungal catching just a couple of Marines this time. The Widowmines go down before they can fire the Banelings. Will they detonate? Yes, they do. Make sure he blows up those Widowmines before they can fire. I think the Liberator got sniped by Ravagers at the same time. Very well done here by SERRAL. And he's cleaning this up, pushing BYUN back to his side of the map. This is a bit more of a dominating game compared to the last one. BYUN eating that Fungal was very tough. Very, very tough. Ultralisk is going to go down. Planetary pushing him back here as well. Fungal's going to go down. Marine Marauder taking some big damage. Ultraling Bane Ravager trying to dance back. SERRAL's a tough match for BYUN. Remember, he's not out if he loses this. He will get a chance to play against Showtime in the Decider if he loses this best of 5. And obviously that's thinking way ahead, but I'm just hoping he remembers that as well. This does drag into a 1 hour long epic best of 5. I just hope he's got something left mentally and physically in the bank by then. SERRAL, of course, has just absolutely ridiculous endurance. Something about those Finnish people enduring 6 months a year of cold, dark winter seems to make them more able to handle the long, grueling matches than anyone else. Marauders and a Lib trying to run down this right side. The Lib does finally siege up. Widowmines get some good shots. The Marauders all get chowed down, trying to bait those Ultras into the Lib zone. He's got to back away, getting a bit too fancy here as BYUN. He's got to slow down, calm down. He's got to try to squeeze a 5th command center in as well. His 3-3 is on the way. It is competitively timed. I do like the Lib harass, but SERRAL's so good at keeping up with him. Another hatchery cancel. See, now that he's getting some base snipes, this is where BYUN can maybe start to disrupt SERRAL and make him make some mistakes. Files taking down that Lib. Lib and a few Marines going down the right side. Big army on the right. Oh, I love the 2 Marauders running in, sniping the Infestor. Only Ravagers to counter this. 1 Infestor goes down to the Lib as well. The army a bit too far in Zerg territory, and he's just got to run home. These medevacs need to boost away. Dude, what is the Ravager count? 11. 11 Ravagers? He's got 33 supply of Ravagers. I mean, that's just too many. I get they're a bit more mobile than the Roaches. Have a bit more range on them. That's 33 supply of not the most effective unit. Stats-wise, it's kind of weak. Oh, we'd like to fungal this army and jump on it with SERRAL. BYUN is saying the answer to this game is to just keep on shoving. Play like an aggressive mad lad. The Infestor doesn't get the fungal off. Oh, that's big. Biles trying to come down. Clears up one of the Libs, but I felt like that fight was pretty good for BYUN, who's now 3,000 resources ahead and the unit's lost. BYUN fighting back from behind, and SERRAL, he's still got 8 Ravagers in that army, which I really do believe is a lot of supply wasted on rather average units. Luckily, he's only got 5 Queens, but it's a bit tough. Widowmine's getting some shots there. Bio's split to the right. That's another hatchery snipe. But it's you can't lose this army at the same time. He's got to pick up and leave. The medevacs need to fly over and pick up. He does pick up. But quite a few Marauders go down. Army on the right side does some decent damage. He's going to go drop on that left side. Double starports coming in. I think that's just for Libs and maybe Vikings, guys. Vikings are cheaper now, so you can actually counter Corruptor Broodlord with Viking sometimes. It's a bit dicey because spells can wreck you, but it can surprise the Zerg players quite a lot, and you can even kill a lot of Overseers and these sorts of things with it. Does end up losing everything on that right side to the Fungals and the Ravagers there. SERRAL continuing to just commit here. +2 flyer attack. He's got +2 range coming in. Doesn't have +3 melee just yet. Not the most important upgrade. The armor +3 carapace is the best. BYUN's very slow to a 5th base, guys. Like, he's built 2 more starports, but he's done this very late. You can see he's playing tempo TVZ. The difference I was mentioning the other day between Clem and BYUN is, like, Clem will make you feel like you're up against this, but he'll have the 5th base established and a 6th already landed behind this as well. But, you know, that's the multitasking of Clem. He can attack in this vicious multitasking high-risk way like BYUN does. Oh, can he get the spore? He saves the lib! The lib survives. That was a cute little save there for BYUN. Hangs out a bit too deep in enemy territory. Widowmine does take out 2 of his own medevacs. Oh, that hero Baneling dragging the Widowmine into his own units. Yet another hatchery gets cancelled in the top right. And remember, a lot of these modern maps, there's not a lot of extra easy to take bases. They're very exposed far out of the map in these corners, and makes it kind of tricky where Terran with these tempo styles can sometimes just you know, trade it a little bit better throughout. Not massively better, but a bit better, and you can't get those corners up because they're always diving in and sniping bases. 7 medevacs, 2 libs, 18 marauders, 35 marines, and 9 widow mines. But there is a Nidus in the main, mass changeling standing around it. SERRAL is sick of defending. He wants to put something on the offense. It's only got 4 ultras here with the army. I imagine he's got 2 ultras about to pop out in that main. No, it's an empty Nidus. He wasn't expecting that to get up. He's under too much pressure. Does BYUN have a chance to respond now? I think BYUN's whole army is on the map. He's got some libs there. I guess he can defend with some libs in his rally point. Libs are going to go for a bit of a spready. That should be enough, I think, with the Marines and Marauders popping out here. It's kind of funny rallying into 3 libs. I mean, Zerglings are almost free. They're very cheap units. Widowmine does get biled. I don't know how top players like SERRAL have the APM and attention to drop Corrosive Bile on single Widowmines this deep in the game when there's this much happening. For most players, I think this deep, the Ravager is actually just a dead weight. SERRAL still somehow is finding value, sniping libs, sniping Widowmines, getting some value. He's only got 6 Ravagers left now, so it's not quite as much of a supply dump as it was before. Dude, BYUN doesn't know about this base, hey? There's a hatchery. He's seen the edge of the creep, but there's too much going on. He hasn't noticed it. He could send almost anything there and get himself a free base snipe. And SERRAL's not got a massive commitment. He should probably put a Nidus here to evacuate drones. But he's just trying to secretly drone this base up. He's on 95 workers, which is a bit ridiculous. BYUN never cleaned up his main base. He's going to pay a big price for that. Oh, this completely takes the wind out of BYUN's sails. And look at this, guys. He's running in with 5 Reddit point Marauders. They could all get, like, one-tapped by Zerglings. Oh my gosh, and they do! They almost all die. 8 supplier Marauders just went down. Is the Nidus invisible on the minimap when fully surrounded by changelings? Oh, that's cute. I didn't think of that. Oh, remind me to check that in the replay. There might be no visible change on the minimap, yeah. Liberator Bio coming on in. The Ultra Lingbane Ravager in massive numbers. Where are the Corruptors, though? He can't fully chase him until he gets Corruptors out. It seems crazy to me that SERRAL doesn't have Corruptors yet. I mean, it seems like that would be checkmate against BYUN style. But recently, if there's one thing we've seen, and you guys, you know, we saw this in the series against Clem in, was it the Rongyi Cup? Whatever tournament it was. I think it was one of those tournaments a few weeks ago. He kept not building Corruptors and leaving it a bit too late. And that's been hurting him a little bit. I mean, this style is all about the libs and the medevacs being able to pick up and fly away. Ultra Lingbane Ravager will defend on both sides. I think SERRAL's doing a good enough job. He's probably okay. He's trading really well, right? It's very close to even. Problem is that his bases keep getting denied, and I think it's just this corner base in the bottom left that's kind of keeping him in a competitive position. Like, this is crazy. He's got a full mining base in the bottom left that BYUN doesn't know about. The top right base is also mining. BYUN's going to go for a while, drop into the main base. 9 Corruptors are on the way. They're going to have +3 finishing soon after they come out. Finally, those Corruptors come in. It looks like the spawning pool is still alive, but he thought it might get sniped there, so he's already rebuilding it. Dude, like this, if he just fungles this and jumps on it with Corruptors, he kills the whole army. Another wave of changelings coming out. There are still burrowed Zerglings there. Beautiful lib siege up, dude. Remember, advanced ballistics has been done a while ago. There's not enough bios to clean all of that up. He needs the Corruptors to help defend these libs. The bio is going to redrop on that side. That does distract some of these Corruptors, but of course the medevacs will fall. Libs on the right side getting crazy damage. The Vikings have started to come out. Like I said, you can potentially play Vikings now that they're only 125 minerals. And it's a bit awkward for Zerg to keep up with, but just a few, like 1 or 2 good fungals or parasitic bombs and a Viking commitment tends to get punished. He finally scans the bottom left. I don't know if I saw him visibly recoil from that, but he's definitely not happy about that bottom left base. This base has been denied a lot, though. Oh, that's a good move. Focuses the Nidus, you'll get all the drones. Honestly, it's probably good for SERRAL to lower his drone count. He builds 8 more. I think that's a mistake. SERRAL's already oversaturated on his bases. I think SERRAL's maybe lost track of his economy a little bit. BYUN really needs to clean his main base up. Like, this is a big distraction, and it's pulling him all the way home. Yeah, he's going to clear some of the lings up, but he should be realizing there's a lot more. And I mean, there's new changelings coming in as well. I guess the problem with BYUN's point of view is because the changelings show up as friendly units, unless he has a turret nearby. So I don't think it actually would hide the Nidus Worm, unless he's got a turret, and then it makes the Nidus and the changelings the same color. Marauder goes down, Widowmine as well. SERRAL still active on the front. Nidus Worm is coming up in the back. There's about 50,000 Marauders, Marines, and Libs here. There's so much Ultraling Bane, and with that right side base going down, he's finding so many SCVs. BYUN is struggling to keep up with the pace that SERRAL is playing at right now. SERRAL looks very focused. BYUN always makes him work so hard for it. But there's always a point where SERRAL just drags it deep enough, and you can kind of feel this is the stage where SERRAL has 10,000 games at this stage, and BYUN, he's been playing I'm going to shove and push and force reactions, and now you're at the stage of the game where you just need to kind of tread water and slowly build small advantages. That's not BYUN's best playstyle. BYUN is a shoving man. He's a guy who likes to tactically catch his opponent out of position, find some big damage. He's going to split his army now. He's really got to stop F2ing. It's a massive army that he sends to the right. Not as big an army on the left. The Lib's getting caught out. Few Vikings and Marines will help protect them. Only one Lib goes down. The Marine Marauder's got to get back down the ramp. It's hard to do that when you get fungled, though. Corruptor's cleaning the Libs. The Ultra Baneling doing really well. That's a lot of Libs and Bio going down there. Units lost time still very close to even. Why does BYUN not have Ghosts? Because he's never made it to late game, guys. Ghosts are really expensive. He's actually got 7 orbitals, which is more than I thought. But he's been playing a tempo style. He's number 1. He's not Clem or Maru. He's not the god of late game. But number 2, he's just playing a bio-lib tempo style. Ghosts lose tempo. They're a much slower unit. They can't stim. You need to cast spells constantly. This army is about pushing hard and killing your opponent in the mid-game. And I honestly think he would have had a chance of doing this because he was playing it so well. But the Nidus Worms of SERRAL and those Ling Run buys, it felt like the moment BYUN wasn't dictating what was happening, he had to start reacting to things. It just completely broke his rhythm and his dominance over this game. Not that he was dominating, because obviously he was behind earlier, but he was definitely winning a bunch of fights and getting himself back into a good position from a bad start. We've seen him make some crazy comebacks from this map. Oh, that's a huge surround. BYUN's too busy in the bottom left right now, guys. He does pick up and save some of the units. This is what was distracting him. The Corruptor's there. The Viking Lib jumps on top. Bunch of Marines helping as well. It's 3-2 on those Corruptors. Very nice upgrades for those. Widowmines get a few smears, but there's too much Ultraling Bane. Too much Zerg on the dance floor, ladies and gentlemen. The bank is gone for Terran. The Corruptors, Ultras, Lings, Banes, and Ravagers will engage. He does bile a few of his own units in the Libs at the same time. But BYUN is losing so many expensive units. Lings on the right side, tearing down his infrastructure as well. And BYUN will have to tap out. That is a 2-0 advantage for the Finnish Phenom. All right, guys, going into game 3. SERRAL on the bottom left side of the map. BYUN in the top right, it's Tourmaline. A map which I do think can be quite hard to defend some of these bases. Which means you're going to play mid-game, you're going to play tempo style. I don't think it's bad for Terran. But if you're going to play to the late-game turtle, it's very good for Zerg because these corners are a bit too far away for Terran. And SERRAL showed against Maru that he was able to break down Maru's late-game turtle with Ultraling Bane Corruptor. So I think SERRAL's very happy to go late-game here, and I think BYUN's going to once again feel the pressure to get something done before that stage. He's going to be double gas again. Barracks into gas after the CC first, guys. BYUN is going to be going for 1 the max for now. And there we go. 16th. 16 workers on minerals. Pulls one's back on onto the second gas. So it'll be a quick factory. Probably a marine first again. Reaper doesn't find that much damage these days. Not a bad way to open up. SERRAL's playing pretty conservatively. Just hatch gas pool. Just standard stuff. I wonder if he pulls off gas early in any of these games. I think in SERRAL's mind, probably just wants a quick link speed to make sure there's no opportunity for Hellions to dive in and upset his early game. We spoke to SERRAL after some of his losses in Thunderfire and the like, and these sort of tournaments, and you know, he said, hey, I mean, I messed up really bad in my openings at Home Story and Thunderfire. I did not play great StarCraft, but I don't think the late game strategies mattered. I don't think the mid game strategies mattered. I think I just need to fix my basics, was essentially his consensus on that. Series has not been finished. Not yet. He's up 2-0. It's definitely in the finished direction for now. Thank you very much, Mute Carrier, with $11.78 towards PiGFest. I appreciate you so much, my friend. Third hatchery goes down after Link Speed. Yeah, super safe, guys. Gonna go Creep Tumor on the natural there. So he skipped. Did he skip the inject in the main? Skips the inject in the main. Just goes here once he can secure it with 2 queens. So pretty early creep spread. I do like it. Command center goes down. Second second gas is already up. So starport could go down shortly. And I don't think he forgot his reactor, right? It's just he wanted to build 2 marines in case 4 zerglings came in. There's just a bit of a safer way to open. Now, interestingly, there's still no starport, which tells me we're going to see double engineering bay. BYUN. Let's go to BYUN's vision. Oh, no. Never mind. Second factory. Hello. And a third factory. Okay, it's going to be a big blue flame opening. Potentially early mag field as well. He might try to get in SERRAL's face with the battle mech. Not a bad idea to mix things up. Thank you, Chileno, for the sub. Appreciate you guys.
Add-on complete.
Barrett's just going to float there. Now you can see his marines earlier went to the back because BYUN didn't want SERRAL getting an overlord in. The overlord's on the pillar, the lings are there. Oh! Oh! Luckily he hasn't taken extra gases, so there's no real tells of what's going on just yet. That already looks a little bit suspicious though. If I'm SERRAL, I'm going Roachhorn. Just for safety. I'd drop a Roachhorn now just because I'm like 3 Hellions sitting at home, 2 marines. This is just a bit of a weird build. Like you're just so passive. Yeah, quick lair so we can overseer scout. That's also great. But either a Bane Nest or a Roachhorn soon should be what SERRAL goes for. Still just doing rule of 1 gas for now, guys. 9 queen, rule of 1 gas. So 3 mineral lines. He'll go for a 4th hatchery before taking an extra gas. That's a very early 4th. Normally you'd think about taking some extra gases by now. Baneley Nest, 2nd and 3rd gas goes down. I don't think he's clocked at its mech. You can play Lingbane Hydra against Battle Mech. You gotta have good surrounds on it. And it's really hard to have enough Lingbane when that first big wave of Cyclone Hellion comes out. Oh, watch out! SERRAL gets 2 Hellions there. Super discount value deal. 2 Hellions for 2 Zerglings. That's a trade Zerg will take any day of the week. Someone's trying to explain. There's some Kiwis in the chat, guys. We're joking about Pavlova being Australian, even though we know it is made in New Zealand. People are asking what it's like. Yeah, it's like meringue, but good. Meringue's kind of like, that's the main difference. The problem with just saying it's like meringue is Pavlova's actually good, and meringue's kind of Let's be honest. Like, the texture is fantastic on a good Pavlova. If you guys have never tried it, you should definitely try it out. Hellion Cyclone coming forwards. SERRAL's on 72 workers, but dude, Blue Flame and Magfield are done. He's got nothing but Queen Lingbane, no Hydra Den, no Roachhorn, and BYUN is catching him off guard with this. Time to start getting some damage. He doesn't want to get surrounded by Lingbane. Link's going to go for a counter, it looks like. Ooh, he's going to loop in around for the flank. The Marines even came across the map. BYUN F2ing like a madman. He's got to be careful of this around. He's got to reinforce to make sure he doesn't get flanked. He sees the Lings. He should split his army. Half goes left, half goes right, and then those Lings can't escape. But BYUN, very conservative, pulls back. Yeah, I would have loved to see a half and half there. The Ling Bane is setting up as a flank, so it's always ready. Bane speed coming in. Roach Warren is almost finished. I think BYUN could have got a lot more damage there. He doesn't want to get his units surrounded, which is correct, but he also can't be too passive. He's got to keep trading before the Roaches with Roach speed come out. I mean, he's got a 3rd command center, that's great, but there's no 4th command center. He's only on 5 factories. Tank production hasn't started. You're playing Battle Mech, you got to get it done. He finally scans this. BYUN looking a little paranoid. As the series has gone on, he's moved down the frame in that webcam view that we have. SERRAL stayed in pretty much the same position the whole time. Cyclone Hellion with some good lock-ons. Queen's taking damage. I think this is a good start, but SERRAL's being very methodical setting these up. I think if BYUN just splits a few guys back, he can spot this and then pull back, but catches it, so it's good enough. Banelings do get a decent connect, but the Lings get toasted, man. Units lost time 450 to 2,700. SERRAL has a 4 base income, though, with a 5th on the way on the bottom right. So he might be able to keep this up. He might be able to keep this up, SERRAL. If he can get Roach speed and 12 Roaches out, that'll really help the Queens. Buying a bit of time with Transfuse, but the Cyclones do so much damage. It's 600 damage over 14 seconds to every unit type with the upgraded mag field. Lock on there. A few Cyclones go down, but overall, BYUN's just making this near impossible to engage into. He should have swapped to tanks by now, though. He's still on pure Cyclone. That's not the play. If he had tanks arriving right now, he could start sieging, and it's checkmate. Without siege tanks, there's always a chance you get on top of these Cyclones and they go down. He's playing full pure battle mech. Can BYUN pull it off? His style does not kite and to scale as well as it used to in the patch when the Cyclones were bugged. Remember, the Cyclone bug got fixed. They used to lock on a lot quicker than they used to. It used to cool down very fast. Still playing pure Cyclone Hellion. And SERRAL has survived on 75 workers. SERRAL just needs to get enough army up to defend. He's got Infestors coming that will fungal this. Cyclone's getting some good lock-ons. And remember, only 3 orbitals, and he's constantly using scans in the battles, which don't show up in the units lost, but that's a massive amount of minerals. 225 minerals he's losing that he could be mining every time he drops a scan. Of course, it doesn't feel good for SERRAL, but the fact that SERRAL's been like respreading creep, trying to get the creep out, just to give him a bit more mobility and movement, really, really important. A couple of Lings get in. Cyclone Alien will clean it up. Not bad. 4th command center's up. He's going to go for a planetary on the 4th. 2nd armory's coming in. Finally, the tank production has started. 2 more factories come in. Problem? These tanks are going to have to go around this right side because that factory is misplaced. So these tanks have to go around the right. Luckily, they can still get out of the base. They're not locked in. That sort of base place, building placement is what can sometimes lead to units getting trapped later on. Things continually attacking that side. Might be worth just leaving a few Blue Flame Hellbats there. Does A move and shift click back to mining. Cyclone Hellion, got to be careful. The Infestors, bro. I don't know if there's enough firepower. Even if he lands a decent fungal. Ooh, BYUN, not a good fight for him. That was a sloppy one. Kind of trying to desperately force the fight. Oh, that's good, though. 6 drones, and he could kill the hatchery. Did just trade away a lot of his units, and there's Great Aspire and Hive on the way. Well, Hive for now, and Spire. He'll be able to make a Great Aspire. Infestors are growing. You're a Parasite as well. If you can hit before there's Broodlords with like 8 siege tanks backing up a Hellion Cyclone army when there's no creep on a small map like this, especially this ledge, I'm telling you guys, if you get a few tanks up here, it's just checkmate. Because you can deny both middle bases. There's nothing they can do. If your Cyclone Hellion is split here, and there's tanks on that ledge, you need to have overwhelming numbers as the Zerg, and SERRAL has not had a chance to do that. He's down almost 4,000 in trading. This is a great build choice for BYUN. SERRAL's dropped multiple maps to mech recently, and this could be another one. BYUN with tanks very far forward on the front line. He needs more Hellbats in here. He does have units on the right side. Definitely worth scanning here to clear the creep, but he's very low on scans, and that's gonna slow him down. This is why constantly respreading creep, sometimes it feels like it's a fruitless effort as Zerg, but the amount of scans that have been used that were not able to mine mules, and the fact that they're so low now, this is giving map control to the Zerg player. Little Hellion Cyclone squad over here. The Blue Flame Hellions do well against the Zergs, but he doesn't have enough numbers to completely shut it down. A few more Hellions do rotate. He's going to send every Cyclone Hellion to chase this army down. I think would be a decent call. It's just the tanks have no protection against Zerglings in the middle, so he's got to be careful. Floating Barracks does see SERRAL retreating on that side. Great Aspire's on the way. Viper's now out. There's so many Infestors. Now Vipers, I mean, BYUN has to push, but these tanks are way too far in front of his tank line. That was sloppy, man. Does get fungled. He's going to lose a tank and a bunch of Hellions. Bile will take out the turret. Tank count is only at 8. BYUN's, he should not be letting Serral mine this base. I mean, I love that he's attacking the right as well, but I think at this point he could have doubled down on the frontal push because he's already denied this base earlier. So this is very low value denying this side right now, whereas it's that middle side is the crutch of Serral's economy. Good chase here by Serral, pulling away off creep. I love the Burrowed Zerglings for vision. Neuroparasite. Ah, nice move there. Neuroparasite. The Basilisk, Zergs, Rainer, and Serral so good at using that to grab those. BYUN scans the top left. BYUN needs to push, though. Otherwise, he's going to lose to Great Aspire. For those who don't know, there was, I think, a year and a half, 2 years ago, Site Delta map pool. BYUN went a lot of mech. Hold on. We'll tell that story in a little bit. Ravagerling Bane comes forward. There's not many basic units here. Yeah, it is very weak to tank fire. That was a little bit too far for Serral. So there was about a 6, maybe 3-month period where BYUN went mech every game. And he had never played mech for like the longest time before that. And it was shocking. And he kept smashing people. Every game, BYUN would play mech. He would get ahead like he did in this game. And then the Broodlords would come out and he would die to like 3 Broodlords. I kid you not. He just would never be able to finish the game with the mech, and he wouldn't really transition to like late game Thors and Ghost mech or anything like that. So there'd always be a point where Solo would just be getting ravaged by BYUN for like 20 minutes, and then he'd get 4 Broodlords out and he'd kill like 120 supply for nothing. The tanks would all be friendly firing. The Cyclones would try to run in. They'd get jumped on by the Ling Roach Baneling. Absolute crazy. These Infestors just don't have any support. Where is the army? The whole army moved out of position. The Infestors are getting jumped on. But, oh, Serral gets some big value there. BYUN, a little bit YOLO, attacking both sides at once. I think he assumed Serral would have pulled his whole army back to defend, but Serral didn't. Serral left himself wide open, but now the Broodlords are here. The Thors have started this time. It is only 1-2 upgrades on the Thors, though. So not the best Thor upgrades. Things going in on that side as well. It's a big run by. It's a lot of SCVs. He still has a decent worker count of 70, but just not quite there. These tanks need to get out. And I'm telling you, those first Broodlords, very hard for a lot of mech players to play against, but especially BYUN style of aggro battle mech into pure tank. It's, you know, if he doesn't find the timing to get in there before the Broodlings, the Broodlords, it's a real nightmare. Thors are coming out, but he hasn't started his 2-3 upgrades, and I think that's really problematic. Having those armor upgrades makes those Thors so tanky. Tank's going to go down on the front. Serral, he's got 12 Ravagers, 12 Infestors, 5 Broods, 1 Viper. Just 2 Banelings in the mix. Trying to rebuild his economy and take the corner bases. The Broods should probably try to focus fire the tanks, I think. But now he's just killing the Hellions. Tank-friendly fire is big. Thors need to make sure they're in single fire mode. There we go. BYUN fixes that. Couple Vikings transformation servos coming in. Still no armory upgrades, though. That's really going to hurt him long term. BYUN is very poor right now. Ling's on this third once again. I was saying earlier he should put a Hellbat in there. There's... Oh! Neuroparasite's coming in. Tank's not quite in range. That Viking's going to be annoying. So there's a hot trick you can do, guys. If you F2 all the time, like me and BYUN do, you put the Hellbat here and you build 2 more depots around it so it can't move. And then the Hellbat is stuck, but there's still an entrance that Zerglings on A move can get into. And you've built a Hellbat turret at your base. Some people would say just build a bunker and put a few Marines in it. What's wrong with you? I would say shut your mouth. Blue Flame Hellbats with mech upgrades. Let's go, son. The Hellbat turret, it's the Perdition turret from the campaign. You just have to do a bit of extra work to get it. The Thor Hellion Viking hanging out in the middle. This base has been lifted. Those SCVs thankfully survived. BYUN needs those SCVs alive. Oh. Viper goes down pretty quickly. There's no Hellbats to guard against the Broodlings. Biles actually do really well against the Vikings. That's kind of hilarious, man. He's just going to neural them. That's the only way he can actually get them to hold still. He neurals them and makes them stand on the Bile. Serral's in his element now. Doing very well with Neuroparasite. My brother, that is a 1-2 upgrade. I mean... You're meant to keep upgrading. I'm not saying BYUN's playing a perfect game. Their Hellbat turret, if you're playing mech, makes sense, guys. I'm saying BYUN should have done it, but he also should have done a lot of other things. Come on, guys. They're like, that's only 1-2 upgrade. Get out of here, guys. You guys are dum-dums. Also, 2 supply Hellbat can stop like 40 Zerglings. 4 Marines in a bunker is not going to stop 40 Zerglings. I mean, you could do the same trick where you surround it and you just leave a 1 space opening so the Zerglings attack it 1 at a time, but... Oh, come on. Oh, that'd be so cool if he unburrowed on that. Well, you should have explained it better then. You forgot I'm in Twitch chat and my IQ is 16. I apologize, guys. It is my fault. I take full responsibility. Neural bile on the Vikings. The Thors turn to fight against their own kind. In the late game, you need ranged libs or siege tanks to focus the infestors, and then the Thors and the Hellbats can do the rest. Bonus points if you get a few ghosts with EMPs and snipes. But he just never quite made it to that comp. His upgrades are a bit behind, and BYUN is very far behind in this game. 70 more Zerglings are on the way. BYUN's dropping mules in the corner. Of course, he's trying to hang in there. He had a really good start. Once again, I think SERRAL's very weak to mech openings. I thought the opening was a bit suspicious for BYUN, but I guess when it's CC first, it's hard to tell what they should be doing at what timing. Kind of disguises the build a bit more. Once SERRAL realized what was happening, he was up against the wall, very close to losing. And I think BYUN just overcommitted a few times with his Cyclone Hellion. And I think, as a general rule, if you can swap to those tanks a bit earlier, I think it's so powerful, man. I think probably at 7 minutes is probably the time where if he starts building tanks, it's like, I think amazing. Even here, 6.5 minutes. I think 8 Cyclones is plenty, guys. Because how often are the Cyclones effective fast? I feel like the Cyclones can just kind of... 8 is enough to cause so much damage. And then you can basically just like... If the tanks were already rallying from 6:37 minutes, I don't think SERRAL holds. I mean, he's down in supply. He's got no creep spread. And it just takes the onus off you having a shove Hellion Cyclone on creep, which he really felt like he had to do. Hats off to SERRAL for constantly flanking. Even though he kept losing these armies, it forced BYUN's army away, which did in of itself buy him a lot of time. GG well played though. SERRAL gets the win. GG well played. How do you feel after that, mate?
Pretty good. It was a tiring series, but good enough in the end and a pretty convincing one, I guess. So feeling good.
It's definitely arduous games there. Rather long games. I did feel you were a little ahead on White Rabbit against BYUN, and I feel that map can be very scary in late game. Was there a reason you didn't maybe try to bust him earlier? Did you feel there was no opportunity? Or were you just confident? Because it does feel like in this series, if the game went long enough, you looked a lot more confident in the end game than BYUN. Was that part of your strategy, is just drag the game out? You know you can beat him in late game?
Well, no, that's not never a game plan. To be honest, that map seems pretty bad in late game with the couple of games I played now. So that wasn't exactly the plan, but it's always hard to find a killing move, especially if it has to be just frontal. I tried to drop at one point, I instantly got countered, so I just had a hard time finding an opportunity. Maybe just blasting the 5th base at some point was the way to go there, but yeah, I didn't really find any angles for the most part.
Yeah, it can be really tough on that. And it's really interesting because BYUN played a different style. It looked like he was inspired by Maru he kind of added double armory, made a lot more of a mech swap. And he actually played it a bit different though, where, did you notice that BYUN played very low on ghosts for a long time in that first game? And like he stopped building bio, just made tons of tanks, made some Hellbats. Was that surprising to you that there was so few ghosts? Because there was a moment, I think you had 70 Banelings, and there was nothing he had that Banelings were good against.
Well, not really. I didn't really see that in the game. I feel like people usually don't go that high on ghost anyways. But I mean, just making mass tank is pretty reasonable, especially in that scenario. I think just having a couple of ghosts for the Vipers for EMPs there is probably pretty strong. So to be honest, I didn't really even notice that kind of thing, that he didn't have ghost early. But felt like every late game to me.
It was kind of funny because, yeah, there was a moment where I was like, oh, he's proper cosplaying as Maru right now and trying to, you know, get up to this kind of hybrid ghost mech style that it's really interesting. I mean, you've played some big series in ZvT recently against Maru, and we've seen him play it against Rainer, your teammate as well. I feel like I saw Maru take one map off you like 4 years ago at like a Katowice with ghost mech late game. And I remember I thought, wow, that looks like kind of the ultimate late game TVZ playstyle. And since then, I just never saw him do it again. And I always wondered like why he didn't try it or what it was. Do you think he's figured something out? Is there something new in the balance? Is it something Is that style amazing? Like, how do you feel about the Ghost Mech coming back from Maru?
Well, yeah, in general, late game seems pretty reasonable now for Terran with the two supply coast. They do die pretty fast if they get caught, but it seems like something that could be smart to play towards, and it's not really something I'm too practiced against anymore. I remember Oliver used to always play like that, but not really getting too many games now against it, and I feel like Maru and Liu Cup was like the first time they actually started playing a bit more like that. But talking about back like I am Katowice or whatever, like the series we were talking about, weren't taking Hellbats like one-shotting Links back then as well or something. So it was like 2 Hellbats killed 100 Links. So it was a little bit different back then. It was even extra good, but yeah, of course, that's a good style. I do think you need to get like a pull or switch at exactly the right time. I'm always doing it like really late, but I think there might be like a mid-game angle as well, where you go like 8 rulers and try to get some push going. But yeah, it's hard always, especially it comes down to the map so much as well. Like I said, like White Rabbit, I actually didn't think it was that hard in practice, but now these 2 games have been extremely hard, and I think like the middle bases are pretty tough to keep on my side, especially the one that's next to his triangle third, since he can just have like 1 or 2 tanks there, and it already denies the gases, but like just any like 2 medivacs are impossible to deal with because I can't even it's not like I can just abduct the tanks there anymore, so they're just infinitely there, so it's pretty hard. But like I said, maybe a bit faster Brood Lords, which could have some potential.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because, I love Brood Lords. Every time I'm casting ZvT, I go on about Brood Lords because so many tanks are being built right now. And BYUN especially, he built, I think at one point he had 25, at least 22, maybe 25 siege tanks on the map because the whole map was covered in siege tanks. And definitely feels like there's probably a Brood Lord timing there. I think it's harder against Maru because he'll build a bunch of tanks, but he hangs around like 10, 12, 13 siege tanks. Has a few more like Thors and Vikings, and the ghost count's a bit higher with Maru, and Maru's so good at using the Thor Viking ghost, so obviously Brood Lords can get caught out and just disappear very quickly. It was interesting because I felt like he used the architecture so early. Like you said, those tanks just hang in those spots for so long. It felt like he kind of bullied you. I think you actually had a bigger supply lead in the mid game than you realized, and probably could have cleared up some of those armies, but I was going to your camera a fair bit, and it's so funny because you run over, you see a tank and Marines shooting you from a cliff, and you have no idea how much stuff is there, right? So it feels like engaging those seems very dicey, yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty hard. Like I guess in the end, like after playing the game, I kind of know he probably like the right side position. He had like 2 tanks there, probably one like on the high ground next to my base, and then like one like way back. But both of them had like 60 Marines. It felt like, so I don't know. It's hard, and I'm not sure I'm miscounting his Rexes, but I was kind of counting at 7 Rexes there. But maybe because of the 2 Rex Reaper opening, they were all on the natural or something. I'm not sure. But I was like, it's like committing pretty hard here, and I don't really want to take a bad fight and just give up that base. And yeah, it should be fine there. But I can imagine like the early game was very good for me, so I can imagine I should be pretty high. Like I should have just enough to kill that pretty easily. It's just always hard if the tanks are in good spots, and those were some good spots, I thought.
Yeah, man, some juicy spots on that map. Funny to see games like that because, yeah, you were ahead early. I think you traded better, but then the early late game, it went 15, 20,000 resources in his favor. But then you started just doing really good, and you closed the gap on the resources lost a lot. So it was interesting to see the back and forth, and really impressive to see BYUN evolve his late game in the last 5 years. That was a really good series. Yeah, overall, I think a pretty confident day for you, a pretty good day in terms of the games. We are, of course, also taking questions from viewers, so you guys know whenever you guys we start an interview, you got to post your questions then. It's too late now. You've missed your opportunity. We have a very important question from Eon Blue, though. He says, when will your next live stream be?
Well, the plan is 1st of May. There's actually a date for it already. It's official, so it'll be 1st of May. Not 1st of May, 1st of March.
Okay, dude, I was like, what the hell, man? You can't be like, I was like, we're going to wait 3 months? Like, what the heck?
Yeah, May was incorrect. It's March, so it's 8 days, right? Next week, Sunday.
Yes. And I mean, that's good because you'll get to do your tradition. The stream title will be PiGFest Champion. You'll have played the finals the night before. You'll have got your third PiGFest championship. I would say trophy, but since we don't have a trophy, your imaginary trophy as a 3-time PiGFest champion. And I think a lot of us will be tuning in to watch that, so that'll be awesome. Rainer, also wanted to let you know you look very sharp today. I love the collar as well. The collar with the basilisk representation there as well. The most professionally dressed commentator. You'll notice, this is a lesson not for SERRAL, but for Rainer, who's in the chat. Notice SERRAL, well groomed, well presented. This is the different level of professionalism. Rainer, we saw the other day, hair a mess. He's got the hood up. He's got the Italian wrap in. It's just a degenerate style, and that's why Rainer, of course, had to cheese very hard to get out of his group. Whilst you played honorable macro games, would you say that makes you the better player of the two and the more respectable SERRAL?
Well, more respectable for sure, but doesn't necessarily speak for the skill so much. But I think I came here prepared with right clothes and everything, and Rainer was a little bit disrespectful towards you, I feel like.
Yeah, I think, I think we can learn from the Korean players, and the Korean players have a lot of respect for their elders, something Rainer has not learned, You'd think after his grandma's taken such good care of him, cooked so much spaghetti for him over all these years, he would learn respect for his elders, but something we're going to have to slowly teach him over time.
Absolutely. I'm already working on it, so don't worry.
Well, you've got what, 3 years on him?
What do you mean, age?
Yeah. I think you're just a little bit older, right?
No, I'm more than that. I'm probably like 4 years at least.
Are you 29 now? 28, 29?
I'm 27.
27. I guess Rainer turns 24 this year, right? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. About 3-4 years, something like that. Anyways, let's go back to the interview. Sorry, I'm getting derailed because it's too much fun talking to you guys and having Rainer in the chat. There was a very important question. How worried are you about the silver and gold players next week in the holdout challenge? If you don't know the history, Rainer played the holdout challenge, was so cocky when he did it a year or two ago, and the very first platinum player he played was taunting him and calling him washed in the chat while holding out for I think almost 15 minutes. So are you gonna repeat that, or are you gonna have to train? Are you gonna have to practice how to finish people off quickly? What have you got in store for us?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really know what to expect, to be honest, but I think killing someone fast with Zerg should be pretty hard, but I think I can make it work. I'm not sure what are the actual record times, or what are the average killing times usually. Is it 6 or 7 minutes, or is it even more?
It really varies massively. There are games where it should be over in 4 minutes, 5 minutes, but there is a few hidden buildings in cheeky places and workers running around, and it takes a few minutes extra. There are definitely a lot of players die in 3-4 minutes, but I would say the average is between probably 7 to 9 minutes is kind of in the window usually. But we do play players of all skill levels for that holdout challenge. For those who are watching at home, guys, just so you know, holdout challenge is going to be the day before the playoffs next week. We're going to start with Mana doing Twitch Plays Pig first, where everyone in chat will basically tell him what to do, and he'll have to do it on the ladder, which will be very fun for us to control him and make him kill his own units and move command his army back and forth and stuff like that. And then we will get to play you guys in the audience against SERRAL, so that should be a lot of fun. Final question before we let you go, SERRAL, we're going to get into the next match, is you're going to the playoffs, and that means first seed, rematch with Maru. The other side of the upper bracket corners is Clem versus Rainer, but of course you guys do go to opposite sides of that bracket, assuming, say you win it or that sort of thing. So, are you excited? Are you looking for revenge? It was a big streak of you beating Maru head-to-head. He beat you last time a couple times back in kind of the online era, the kind of COVID era where he dominated you once or twice, but then it was a big streak of you winning. Is it time to get back on top straight away?
Well, I'll try. It's gonna be hard. The first series was hard, definitely, but I had my moments there for sure. A couple of games I could have won, and I think I did some strategical errors there. I was kind of playing I would play against Clem a little bit there, but of course Maru and Clem play very different, so maybe that wasn't the correct approach. So I'll have to play a little bit differently. But Yeah, should be doable, but it's gonna be very hard, especially if he can. If he's just gonna be forcing the late games all the time, and he's very good at it, so we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. I kind of wanted to play against him as well again, just because after studying the games a little bit, I went through the replays. I kind of felt like I did some strategic errors. Like I think I was playing pretty good, but maybe the styles I went for weren't exactly the best.
I cannot wait, man. For me, I've been waiting for a while to see some good late game ZvT interaction, and I think no matter how both of you play, there's inevitably going to be a few late games. So I'm really looking forward to it because we haven't really seen too much of really top tier players getting to that stage, and I'm sure Maru's going to try and force it there at least a little bit. So I look forward to it. I think we'll learn a lot about how does a 125 hit point ghost perform? How does the Broodlord, now that it shoots instantly at max range, it can interrupt the ghost sniping a little bit. There's a few little interactions. Vikings are a bit cheaper, so they trade a lot better against Corruptors. I have no idea where that's all going to land at the end of the day, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your games, mate, and good luck in the playoffs.
And thanks to you for organizing the event as well. It's always a blast to play in here.
Thank you so much. And big thanks to Basilisk for supporting you as well. GG, well played. We'll see you in the playoffs, SERRAL.
Yep, GG's.